Hi there, Dr. Andrew Schnowski from Freedom Chiropractic and Holistic Health in the Peoria Metro Center and our YouTube channel, Health and Horsepower. This week, we know it's a brand new year, so new year, but same tight hamstrings, right? So as we kind of turn over the calendar, a lot of times I realize that people are going back to the gym. They are ready with their resolutions to get that beach body, to get fit, to feel better, and they want to really jump in right on the deep end and they want to jump into their workout and go every single day of the week. But the reality is, when you jump in with zero prep and zero understanding about how your body actually needs some warm up time and needs some time to scale up, that can actually set you up for failure because a lot of times what happens is in the first 2 weeks back at the gym, you're going to hurt yourself and then you're going to suffer through maybe about another month or so until you finally realize, like, I'm hurting myself more than I'm helping myself, and I don't have motivation, and I don't want to go to the gym. And then you fall off the bandwagon, and then you hate yourself. So I want to talk a little bit more about some of that prep work that's required and some of the things you need to be doing before jumping off the deep end. Because let's face it, we don't want to turn our new year, new you motivation into why does my body hate me and feeling like literally your body just doesn't want to work with you. So let's talk about kind of how our body and our joints work. So your body, your joints are basically made up of bones coming together. There is a soft tissue cartilage in between with fluid in between those joints. And what can happen is if we are very inactive, if we don't move, if we don't stretch on a regular basis, or if we're simply going through aging processes or maybe not eating the healthiest, your body replaces some of the soft tissue, ligaments, muscles, stuff like that around those joints with more brittle tissue. And what can happen is when you try to stretch and use that tissue, it's more of like an old rubber band that's kind of decayed. It's very easy to snap, tear, or just not really get the flexibility that you're used to having. And what can happen is if we push through rather than slowly ramping up and training those muscles and ligaments, what we want out of them, and we don't support those tissues properly, that can set you up for having ligament tears and fractures, like more stress fractures and things like that, because you're overworking a joint that's not used to moving and you're doing too much too soon, pushing too hard, not giving time for rest and recovery. But the reality is you need to make sure, number one, you need to be doing a warm up. That means you need to be doing some type of walking, stretching, kind of preparing your body for having activity and motion. You need to make sure that you realize that you can't just jump in off the deep end and do, highest weight possible. You may need to start with lots of repetitions, lower weights, and kind of work your way up over time. Typically, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for muscles and ligaments to kind of adapt to a workout. So if you're starting out, again, you don't want to start off the deep end doing, heavy weights, lots of, light reps and pushing yourself as hard as you can go. You want to start slow. Start with doing some stretching, start with doing some biking, start with doing some walking on the stair stepper or the treadmill, or even walking just plain around a track. And then you want to slowly start to work and kind of cycle through your body. So ideally, when you're doing a workout, you want to make sure you're doing like upper body, chest, core, and then also leg exercises, but you want to kind of space those out. I do not recommend doing those back to back unless you're doing more functional motions and using multiple muscle groups. If you are doing a workout, say for chest and arms, you want to give yourself, I would say, at least one day in between doing another workout that involves that again. Ideally, 2 days in between would be best. I have a kitten behind me that's making a lot of noise, so excuse me for kitten situation is handled. I'm back now. So, like I was trying to get to. So before you jump into a workout, there's a few things you need to do to prepare your mind as well as your body and your joints for getting into a workout program. And I also want to talk a little bit more about what chiropractic is and how it can support you in those workouts as well. So number one, we want to make sure that we understand that we do need to be warming up our muscles and our ligaments. That's going to help to not only stretch out and kind of pre-work and get that fluid within the joint moving, that's going to loosen up the muscles and ligaments and within our joints and around our joints so that they are ready to protect your joint from injury as you're doing your workout. We also want to make sure we have the right nutrition coming in. Now, nutrition is a huge thing. A lot of people that are trying to lose weight tend to focus on calories, tend to focus on like fad diets or weight loss programs. And a lot of times when we look at weight loss programs, they are designed to lose weight quickly, not necessarily set you up for long-term results. What I mean by that is if you're counting calories, if you're counting points, if you are focusing on intermittent fasting, you are designing your body to basically change metabolism to lose weight only. That's the only metric we're looking at is weight on a scale. And we're not necessarily looking at how are we conserving muscle mass? Are we conserving bone mass? Or are we not getting the right nutrition in? Are we not digesting things properly? Are we potentially losing muscle mass, which is going to put our joints at risk for having arthritis and injury later on down the line? So I'm a big proponent of understanding that what you eat is the fuel for your body to not only function, but also heal. So that means that we need to be eating regular meals throughout the day, fueling ourselves with the healthiest food possible. That means we need protein sources. Protein is very important. It not only makes up your neurotransmitters for mood stabilization, but we also use that protein to rebuild our muscles, our ligaments, and repair any damage in our bodies. In addition to that, proteins and fats are also used to make your hormones, and for women especially, that means that if we are not getting the right amount of fats, yes, you need healthy fat in your diet, you are not going to have the proper hormone balance. Your body's going to be starving for hormones and fat-soluble vitamins, and that's going to set you up for failure, and that's going to set you up for actually tend to gain weight when our hormones are unbalanced or not working and balanced properly. We also need to make sure that we are getting regular meals throughout the day. So we want our blood sugar to be more stable. We don't want roller coaster rides. So if you're doing intermittent fasting, especially if you have a high stress life, and especially if you're a woman, I am not a proponent of intermittent fasting for people that have high stress lifestyles and for people that have hormone imbalances going on already, and especially for women, because men's bodies, when they're under stress, tend to increase testosterone to kind of meet the demands and rise to it. Women's bodies, when they're under stress, tend to deplete hormones, which is going to set you up for failure. You're going to gain weight. You're going to have mood instabilities. You're not going to feel like yourself, and you can set yourself up for failure, but also other organ systems can be involved with that because your hormones affect your circulation. They affect your digestion. They affect your mood. They affect your healing capabilities, and they affect your fertility. So for women, that can be a bit of a problem. The other thing that we want to realize is that there are certain things in our diet and certain nutrients that we need to specifically help with recovery and muscle and ligament function. One of those is magnesium. Magnesium is a natural muscle relaxant. It's used in the smooth muscles of our body. So that's used in your digestive system, in your circulation system. It actually helps muscles relax so that if you are working out and overdoing it, it's going to help those muscles to relax so you're not getting muscle spasms and cramping after your workouts. Magnesium also helps with kind of relaxing your mind before sleep. So also helps make sure you're getting that rest and recovery portion. Another thing that can be really helpful is glutamine. Glutamine can be found in bone broth. You can also get it in a powdered form or a liquid form along with like a collagen. And that is going to help with muscle recovery. So that helps to heal your gastrointestinal tract, that helps support your immune system, and that helps with muscle recovery. So those are some things that I do find tend to be really important. Again, making sure you're eating regular meals throughout the day, lots and lots of focus on protein. Fruits and veggies are really important too, mostly veggies though, because that's going to have our B vitamins. Another thing that's really important is to understand that you may need to support your liver. So your liver, we always think of it like the filter. That liver literally has to filter out all of the processing ingredients in the food that you're eating. That liver has to recycle cells. That liver has to recycle hormones. That liver has to get rid of chemicals, pesticides, any type of toxins in your body. And the liver is responsible for breaking down and packaging things back up to be eliminated for detoxification, as well as a million other things. If your liver is already overwhelmed, if it doesn't have the right amount of B vitamin support, say, for example, you are not good at eating vegetables. Say, for example, you don't take a good quality multivitamin. Say, for example, you have maybe some genetic factors or potentially already have some fatty liver disease, or maybe your liver enzymes are already elevated. That's a sign that your liver is already struggling. If we are working out and we're not supporting our liver, the liver may have issues where it's already overwhelmed. You add this workout in, and now it's going to make you more sore, more miserable. It can't keep up. So very important to make sure that you're supporting your liver. B vitamins are huge for that. Milk thistle, licorice root, also really, really, really great. Now, typically when it comes to B vitamins, a lot of people focus on taking like a B6 or a B12, specifically just to help with energy. The problem is your body needs multiple different types of B vitamins to help with all of the different ways and things that those are used in, because B vitamins are used in almost every single enzyme process and digestive process and metabolism process and energy process in your body. So very important to make sure that you're getting enough of those. But what I see is a lot of times people take either a single B vitamin like a B12, or they take a B complex, and those are maybe poor quality B vitamins. So like if you actually look at, it says B12 and it tells you what it's made out of, it may not be a higher absorbing form. So what happens is you take a B complex or you take a B vitamin, your liver has to methylate it before it can be utilized. What I find is if you take a good quality multivitamin, so the one that I carry in my office, I love, 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 love. It's by Designs for Health. It's called Complete Multi. And they do have a version with iron and copper, and they have a version with just copper or without iron and copper. So if you have iron absorption issues, if you have copper issues, if you really just want a good quality multivitamin, the great thing about this one is it has a methylated, that means your liver doesn't have to work harder, B complex. So has your B's in there already included. So it's a multivitamin with a methylated B complex. And there's a couple other things in there for supporting like immune function, as well as kind of supporting just overall health. So that is a really great one to be taking. So like I said, making sure you're eating the right foods, making sure you're getting enough magnesium, making sure you're getting some glutamine in, whether that's through like bone broth or supplementation. And then you want to make sure you're getting a good quality multivitamin as well. That is going to help to make sure that you are warming up your muscles, feeding things so you can heal properly. And then a really big one, like I mentioned before, is chiropractic care, because chiropractic care seeks to make sure that your joints are moving freely and that they're aligned so that your muscles and ligaments are evenly working on both sides of your body. So if you're doing a workout and you're trying to build your muscles, but your muscles on one side and your joints on one side aren't working fully, you may not be able to get the maximum like extension and flexion of that joint, which means your muscles aren't going to get the best workout. That can mean that you are one-sided. You are stronger on one side than the other. And the reason is because the joint doesn't move properly. So you can't actually build that muscle properly on the one side. And anytime that we have imbalances, you're going to tend to overwork the side that's weaker. It's going to break down faster, and that can lead to premature arthritis as well as joint pain, especially if you have already have arthritis, or if you have osteopenia or osteoporosis. So very important to realize that you've got to do the right things to start this new year on a good foot. If you have any questions, you can give my office a call. We do free consultations. We can do those virtually as well as in person in my office in Peoria. All you have to do is give our office a call, 309-689-6200, or go on our website, freedompeoria.org, and you can request an appointment in our new patient tab. Have a great day.